We are hearing SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM. Also, I wanted to say yesterday I said Bhakti promote Vishnu Devat Maharaj. And now I read it is Srila Bhakti Prabodh Vishnu Devat Maharaj, who entered into Nitya Lila yesterday from our mat. And I told yesterday that he took me on parikrama of Purushottam Dham. So yesterday I forgot to mention one most important place he took me to, Kashi Mishra Bhavan or Radhakanta Mat, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed. There his room is there, Gambira, in which Mahaprabhu would relish Radha Bhav, and he would run away, as we were hearing from Chaitanya Charitamrita. So to that place Maharaj also took me, and one can see that the room is still there of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And we were hearing last time, while Srila Vyasadeva was following his son, beautiful young damsels who were bathing naked covered their bodies with cloth, although Sri Vyasadeva himself was not naked. But they had not done so when his son had passed, and he was naked, Shukadeva Goswami. The sage inquired about this, and the young ladies replied that his son was purified, and when looking at them, made no distinction between male and female. But the sage made such distinctions. Here I will read the commentary. In the Bhagavad Gita it is said that a learned sage looks equally on a learned and gentle Brahmana, a Chandala, dog-eater, a dog or a cow, due to his spiritual vision. Srila Shukadeva Goswami attained that stage. Thus he did not see a male or a female, he saw all living entities in different dress. The ladies who were bathing could understand the mind of a man simply by studying his demeanor, just as by looking at a child one can understand how innocent he is. Shukadeva Goswami was a young boy, 16 years old, and therefore all the parts of his body were developed. He was naked also, and so were the ladies. But because Shukadeva Goswami was transcendental to sex relations, he appeared very innocent. The ladies, by their special qualifications, could sense this at once, and therefore they were not very concerned about him. That verse is there. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatmana Shochati Nakangshati Samah Sarveshu Bhuteshu Mad Bhakti Labhate Param. Samah Sarveshu Bhuteshu. He seeing all living entities equally. He seeing them as spirit souls. The Brahma Gyanis, they see there is only one spirit and is all pervading in all bodies, one spirit. So they also don't make any distinction between male and female dress, and they have no lust, because when you are in male identity, then you have lust for lady, or lady for man, or there are other also gay these things. But the point is, one who is in physical material consciousness, he has that sexual attraction and desire. But one who is above that, he has none. So also others are not threatened by him, like these ladies. They were not worried because they could sense he is above all this. So no worry here. But when his father passed, the ladies quickly dressed The ladies were exactly like his children or grandchildren, yet they reacted to the presence of Vyasadeva according to the social custom, because Srila Vyasadeva played the part of a householder. A householder has to distinguish between a male and female, otherwise he cannot be a householder. One should therefore attempt to know the distinction between body and soul without any attachment for male and female. As long as such a distinction is there, one should not try to become a sannyasi like Shukadeva Goswami. Of course, Vyasadeva also, he's playing the pastime of being a householder. He's not ordinary householder. He's only playing the pastime, like Bhaktivinoda Thakur. There is no lust there, but they are doing the pastime of being householder to be example to others, how to worship. And you will find in Sharanagati, his songbook, how pure householder sees his family members, how he sees his house and everything. He revealed. So with Vyasadeva also, but others will not know. So as long as such distinction is there, one should not try to become a sannyasi like Shukadeva Goswami. At least theoretically, one must be convinced that a living entity is neither male nor female. But this is risky. As we saw, many took sannyas but could not keep up that due to this reason. It is not so easy. And also yesterday one devotee gave me one recording of Srila Gaur Govinda Sai Maharaj, disciple of Srila Bhaktivedanta Sai Maharaj. He told that a sincere disciple should understand that I am not qualified, but Srila Sai Maharaj, out of mercy, he wanted to engage me more in the service of Krishna, although I am not qualified, so he gave me sannyas. So I should try to get my qualification and engage in the service as per his order. Then if such mood is there, it is okay. But if someone thinks, oh, now I got sannyas, now I'm perfect, now I'm guru, now I can do whatever I like, now I'm like this, if this pride enters in sincerity, then one will have to get lesson to understand his real position. Like when Raghunath Gaur Govinda Sai Maharaj gave that example also, like Raghunath Das Goswami wanted to renounce house and go with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then Mahaprabhu said, no, now your Vairagya is not mature yet. You have faith in Krishna, so you should worship him, but remain in house and do everything in relation to Krishna and with accept all these worldly objects and these things, but with detachment. Then gradually you can come. So when Raghunath Das Goswami was practicing, then when he finally could come to Puri, then Mahaprabhu accepted him and said, yes, now your Vairagya is mature. Then Raghunath Das Goswami asked, so now what I have to do? Because at that time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave instruction to him according to that level. But now when he reached this level, then Raghunath Das Goswami humbly requested him what I have to do. Then Mahaprabhu told, don't hear any worldly talk. Don't speak any worldly talk. Don't dress nicely. Don't eat. very luxuriously, be without false pride, Amanina, Manadena, give due respect to all, always chant Harinam, and serve Radha Krishna in mind. Before, Mahaprabhu told him, you use all the articles of attachment, you use them all for the service of Krishna by Jukta Vairagya. You offer everything. But now, when he became renunciate, he has no opulence and no nothing and is not attached. So now Mahaprabhu told him, you serve Radha Krishna in your mind. So according to that level, he can do. But before, it was not possible. Because our mind is restless, our senses are not controlled, all this. So different instructions according to different level. So here Gaur Govinda Sai Maharaj told that one should ask Guru that what service I have to do and how I can make myself qualified. If someone is sincere, then it is okay. But if pride comes, then we will have to get a lesson to understand what is our real position. We got opportunity, but we failed in that opportunity. So then we'll have to get the lesson, and then if we are sincere, we can practice further sincerely. The outward dress is made of matter by material nature to attract the opposite sex and thus keep one entangled in material existence. This is the point. We are actually eternal servants of Krishna. Our duty is to serve him. Our natural function is that, eternal, but we wanted to enjoy this Maya and all these different types of sense gratification. So we will regret. This human life is not meant for that. It is meant for serving Krishna and releasing ourselves from this wrong aptitude. So we should not indulge in sense gratification, because that will not satisfy us and also will keep us in this world, and we will regret. We will lose the chance of getting our real welfare, real benefit. Our real benefit is transcendental satisfaction in the service of Krishna that is natural and that can fulfill you, but we are sacrificing that for the sake of sense enjoyment. That is misfortune, and we will regret if we will go on because that will keep us in this world, entangled material existence. And when you are entangled in material existence, then you have to suffer all the accompanying things. It is not only some pleasure. With pleasure, sense pleasure, so many reaction is also attached to it. So that we also have to consider. Don't close our eyes in front of consequences, inevitable consequences. And blaming others will never help. We'll have to get the result. So the wise men, those who are sober persons, intelligent, they will give up that path of sense enjoyment, although it may seem like a poison in the beginning, but they will engage in the service of Krishna, and ultimate consequence will be nectar. But if you accept hedonism, then in the beginning it seems like very good, but consequence will be frustration and suffering, all this, and perpetual, continuous. So we have to change. a liberated soul is above this perverted distinction. So there is no use of trying to imitate a liberated person, but we have to follow the process of devotional service to Krishna so that we can become liberated gradually from all this. Otherwise, if we don't give that effort, then we can never get, and we will be only entangled in this mixed happiness and suffering. So we will regret. So better to take sadhu sangha and serve Krishna and give up those sense enjoyments for the sake of service of Krishna. Krishna pritya bhogotyak, because that sense enjoyment is obstacle to our service of Krishna. So for the sake of the service of Krishna, we should give that up. He does not distinguish between one living being and another based on body. Brahmagyanis, they will see only one living entity is there, all pervading, but those who are devotees, they will see many living entities, unlimited, Nitya Nityanam Chaitanya Chaitanya. One is Krishna is supreme, and there are many jivas, unlimited jivas. So he will distinguish one from another, but not based on material body, based on transcendental variety, transcendental specialities. He is a gopi, he is a Sakha, he is this, all this, or this marginal living, all he will see distinguished from another. Personality he will see, variety, but not material variety, and he has no any desire to exploit for his own sense enjoyment any living entity. Cannot. It is impossible for him. It is sin. In relation to Krishna, it is sin to enjoy another living entity. All belong to Krishna. I belong to Krishna, they belong to Krishna, and they are meant for his service, not for my sense enjoyment. And they also have no taste for that. Already they got proper happiness, so why they will want some lower taste? They will never accept. Like when Narayan said to Dhruva, you request from me whatever you want. Then Dhruva said, I don't want anything. I only want you, your service. No, you wanted that kingdom. I know why you came to worship me. You wanted that kingdom, so I can give you, you request me. Then Dhruva said, no, I don't want. It is true, I had that desire before. But now when I found you, it is like finding a jewel, searching for a piece of glass. So if I found a jewel, what use is there for broken glass? No use. So under the guidance of pure devotee, we have to be in his shelter, in his guidance, so that we will not miss this opportunity of this human birth. We can get our actual benefit. For him, they are all one and the same spirit. Brahmagyanis or devotees, they will see all are spirit souls, different, but related to Krishna. In that sense, all are one. The perfection of this spiritual vision is the liberated stage, and Srila Shukadeva Goswami attained that stage. Srila Vyasadeva was also in the transcendental stage, but because he was in the householder life, he did not pretend to be a liberated soul as a matter of custom. He was playing the pastime of being householder, like Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So, as per our condition, We have to engage in the service of Krishna under the guidance of realized soul. He will know how to engage us properly according to our present condition. And this will change as we advance. It will change. So we should not try to jump ahead, and when the time is there to go forward, we should not be attached to some things unnecessary anymore. Like in Raghunath Das Goswami's life, we see many stages and instructions accordingly. Katham alakshita paurei sampraptah kuru jangalan unmata mukha jaravat vicharan gaja sahve. Ladies, they have by nature, they have some sense, sixth sense or something, some internal, they have by nature to understand about this, about lust, who is having, who is not, all this, they can sense. That is by nature, God given. So here we saw that although he was naked, but they were not threatened, but Vyasadeva was not naked, but playing the pastime of householder, so they covered. How was he, Srila Shukadeva, the son of Vyas, recognized by the citizens when he entered the city of Hastinapur, now Delhi, after wandering in the provinces of Kuru and Jangala, appearing like a madman, dumb and retarded? Katham va Pandaveyasya Rajarsher Munina Saha Samvada Samabhuttata Yatresha Sattvati Shrutihi. How did it so happen that King Parikshit met this great sage, making it possible for this great transcendental essence of the Vedas, which is Bhagavatam, to be sung by him? Sattvati Shruti, the essence of the Vedas. Our Gurudev used this word, quintessence of all scriptures is Bhagavatam. Sa go dohon matram hi griheshu griha medinam avekshate mahabhagas tirti kurvamstat ashramam. He, Shukadev Goswami, was accustomed to stay at the door of a householder only long enough for a cow to be milked, and he did this just to sanctify the residence. Little time he stayed, just to take alms from the fortunate householders, but not staying long. But by his presence there, even for a short time, he sanctified that household, and he took the alms and went further. He's an ideal preacher, established in the transcendental position. Abhimanyu sutam suta prahur bhagavato tamam tasya janma mahascharjam karmani cha grihini grinihi na. It is said that Maharaj Parikshit is a great first-class devotee of the Lord, and that his birth and activities are all wonderful. Please tell us about him. Sasamrat Kasya Vaheto Pandunam Manavardana Prayo Pavishto Gangayam Anadritya Dhirat Shriyam. He was a great emperor and possessed all the opulences of his acquired kingdom. He was so exalted that he was increasing the prestige of the Pandu dynasty. Why did he give up everything to sit down on the bank of the Ganges and fast until death? Namanti yat pada niketam atmana shivaya hanya dhanani shatrava katam savira shriyam anga dustya jam yuvaisha totsrashtum aho sahasubhi. He was such a great emperor that all his enemies would come and bow down at his feet and surrender all their wealth for their own benefit. He was full of youth and strength, and he possessed unsuperable kingly opulences. Why did he want to give up everything, including his life? This is also important to understand. This question is intelligent. He had so much opulences and everything. Everything was fine. So he is happy. Why then he would give this all up? We have to get lesson from this. Because we are trying to acquire all these things to be happy. But he had, and he gave up. What is the reason? We have to deeply think on this point. Even enemies, they would come to surrender voluntarily because they knew we cannot compete with him. We'll be killed, so better we surrender to him. So he had everything. Why? What was the reason? Why he? Shivaya lokasya bhavaya bhutaye ya uttama shloka parayana jana jivanti natmartham aso parashrayam mumocha nirvidya kuta kalevaram. Those who are devoted to the cause of the personality of Godhead live only for the welfare, development and happiness of others. They do not live for any selfish interest. So, even though the Emperor Parikshit was free from all attachment to worldly possessions, how could he give up his mortal body, which was shelter for others? Because someone will feel that I have duty, so how you can give up? Tat sarvam na samachakshva prishtoyat iha kinchana manyatvam vishayavacham snatam anyatra chandasat. We know that you are expert in the meaning of all subjects, except some portion of the Vedas, and thus you can clearly explain the answers to all the questions we have just put to you, except some portions of the Vedas. I think the Karma Kanda. Let me see. No, it is. Here, the difference between the Vedas and the Puranas is like that between the Brahmanas and the Paribrajakas. The Brahmanas are meant to administer some fruitive sacrifices mentioned in the Vedas, but the Paribrajaka Acharyas or learned preachers are meant to disseminate transcendental knowledge to one and all. As such, the Paribrajaka Acharyas are not always expert in pronouncing the Vedic mantras, those of karmic and fruitive ritualistic, which are practiced systematically by accent and meter by the Brahmanas who are meant for administering Vedic rites. Yet it should not be considered that the Brahmanas are more important than the itinerant preachers. They are one and different simultaneously because they are meant for the same end in different ways. One who is eligible for that, he has to do that. Then he will purify himself and attain higher qualification. Then he will do this. So, but one teacher who is already in transcendental, he may not be very expert in pronouncing those mantras for those stages. There is no difference also between the Vedic mantras and what is explained in the Puranas and Itihas. Itihas means history. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, it is mentioned in the Madhyandina Shruti, that is Upanishad, that all the Vedas, namely the Sama, Atharva, Rik, Yajur, Puranas, Itihasas, Upanishads, etc., are emanations from the breathing of the Supreme Being. The only difference is that the Vedic mantras are mostly begun with Pranava Omkara, the Om, and it requires some training to practice the metric pronunciation of the Vedic mantras. But that does not mean that SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM is of less importance than the Vedic mantras. On the contrary, it is the ripened fruit of all the Vedas, as stated before. Besides that, the most perfectly liberated soul, Srila Shukadeva Goswami, is absorbed in the studies of the Bhagavatam, although he is already self-realized, means transcendentally situated. Srila Sutta Goswami is following his footsteps, and therefore his position is not the least important, is not the least less important, because he was not expert in chanting Vedic mantras with metric pronunciation, which depends more on practice than actual realization. Realization is more important than parrot-like chanting. Our Parangurudev also, he engaged when they were installing, so they know how to pronounce those mantras. But in Dhaka, that place, some students, they were hearing Harikatha of Gauriya Math preachers, and then they were replaced by some other Sanskrit scholars, and the students themselves complained to the dean, why you have changed. It is true that these Sanskrit scholars, they may maybe have better pronunciation and they may memorize more verses or like this, but there is no spirit there. But those Gauriya Math preachers, they are real devotees, so we are getting some inspiration from that. So you keep them. So even they could understand. So in Gauriya Vaishnavism, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave importance to Bhagavat method, which is Harinam, chanting Harinam. You will find many places in Bhagavatam chanting, and at the end also it is there. So Mahaprabhu gave importance on this. But because we have some bad habits, some skaras on this, so he also gave, through the Goswamis, the Pancharatrika mantras for the worship of deity, so that you will engage all your senses and object of the senses and regulated life, then that will help you in your surrender, and with surrender you will properly chant Harinam. So generally this in Gauriya Vaishnavism, you will get Harinam and Mantra Diksha. Those are Pancharatriki. And Vedic, Prabhupada also gave Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur that Brahma Gayatri for males, because other Smarta Brahmins, they were misunderstanding the position of Vaishnavas and they were committing offenses. So in order to prove that and to prevent them, it is out of compassion, to prevent them from committing offense to disrespect Vaishnavas, he also gave them that sacred thread and Brahma Gayatri, that is Vedic mantra, and but he did not give to all. It is not absolutely necessary for bhajan, but for this purpose he had to give for society, for the benefit of others, and also for the Vaishnavas to know that they should be careful in their behavior. But the purpose of all three margas or three paths is the same. It is devotion to Krishna, service of Krishna. I told on that day that something happened, I forgot. Then Brahma requested Krishna to give him again those teaching of the Vedas, but there was no time. So only in 5 nights, only the essence. So those mantras are given. So that is Pancharatrika, or deity worship. So one may accept all three, Vedic mark, Pancharatric mark, or Bhagavat mark, or he may accept only Pancharatric mark and Bhagavat mark, or only Bhagavat mark. That is for Kali Yuga. Harer Nam, Harer Nam, Harer Nam eva kevalam, kalau nasteva, nasteva, nasteva gutiranta. If one received Harinam, he will get everything by Harinam. Even Mahaprabhu, when he told to those devotees from Kulingram, they were asking, we are householders, how we should serve Krishna? Mahaprabhu said, by chanting Harinam, by serving Vaishnavas, and by serving Diti. But next year, when they asked again, he did not mention about the Diti, because if there is sometimes some difficulty, then that is not absolutely necessary. But he said, you do Harinam and Vaishnav Seva. You will get everything. So Vedic mark and Pancharatric mark is only to assist or to help the Nam bhajan. But if someone is not doing Nam, he cannot get perfection by only Vedic and Pancharatric in this Kali Yuga. He must accept Harinam to get the ultimate goal of life. So here, some portions of the Vedas he was not aware, but that is not disqualification, because already he has this thing. So someone who chants Harinam, he will get everything. But we have to learn how to chant Harinam. We have to get it from realized soul, pure devotee, and learn from him how to chant it without offenses and for the satisfaction of Krishna, with that Sambandha Gyan, with knowledge of our relation with Krishna. That is required. Then we can get Krishna Prema. Mahaprabhu also told there in Kashi to Prakashananda Saraswati that his guru told him, by chanting Krishna mantra, one will be liberated from this material conditioning, and by chanting Harinam, one will get the lotus feet of Krishna, means service of Krishna. Harinam is most important and most merciful. It it goes to everyone, distributes itself to everyone, only you require faith. But for Diksha mantras, you need some regulated life already and some purity. But Harinam, everyone who has faith and is ready to serve Krishna, he can get. And by that chanting, he may purify himself. Then, if Guru sees necessary, he will also engage him in the Pancharatrika Marg to assist Nam Bhajan, but not always in this way. He may do it in another way. And then again, ultimately, it will be Harinam who will take us to Golok Vrindavan. Because there is no Aishwarya and no this Aishwarya Sharanagati. It is Prema. So Prema you can get by calling Krishna in relation. And of course, here Sai Maharaj also telling, realization is more important than parrot-like chanting. Suta Uvach. Dvapare samanu prapte tritiye yuga paryaye jatah parasharat yogi vasavyam kalaya hare. Suta Goswami said, when the second millennium overlapped the third, the great sage Vyasadeva was born from Parashara in the womb of Satyavati, the daughter of Basu. We are hearing on his appearance day how Satyavati was taking Parashara Rishi on a boat to cross the river. Then that arrangement came that he blessed her and they were attracted, and then Vyasadeva appeared on an island. That is why Krishna Dvaipayan. So this was at that time. Sa kadachit sarasvatya upasprishya jalam shuchi vivikta ekasina udite ravi mandale. Once upon a time, he, means Vyasadeva, as the sun rose, took his morning ablution in the waters of the Saraswati and sat alone to concentrate. The river Saraswati is flowing in the Badrikashram area of the Himalayas. So the place indicated here is Samyapras in Badrikashram, where Sri Vyasadeva is residing. Paravar gyah sarishih kalena vyakta ramhasa juga dharma vyatikaram praptam bhuvi juge juge. The great sage Vyasadeva saw anomalies in the duties of the millennium. This happens on the earth in different ages due to unseen forces in the course of time. Every millennium is divided into 3 periods, and each period is called a Sandhya. Vyasadeva appeared in the 3rd Sandhya of that particular age. That was in Dwapar Yuga. The great sages like Vyasadeva are liberated souls, and therefore they can see clearly past and future. Thus he could see the future anomalies in the Kali age, and accordingly he made arrangement for the people in general so that they can execute a progressive life in this age, which is full of darkness. The people in general in this age of Kali are too much interested in matter, which is temporary. Because of ignorance, they are unable to evaluate the assets of life and be enlightened in spiritual knowledge. Bhautikanam cha bhavanam shakti hrasam chatat kritam ashrada dhanan nihsatvan durmedhan hrasitayusha durbhagamscha janan viksha munir divyena chakshusha sarva varna ashrama nam yat tadyo hitam amoga drig. Now, you see, the great sage who was fully equipped in knowledge could see through his transcendental vision the deterioration of everything material due to the influence of the age. He could also see that the faithless in people, he could also see that the faithless people in general would be reduced in duration of life and would be impatient due to lack of goodness. Thus, he contemplated for the welfare of men in all statuses and orders of life. Like Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur saw, and he also wrote, that this Harinam Sankirtan will spread all over the world. Because actually he was sent by Mahaprabhu and he started this. He started sending books to foreign countries and he ordered Prabhupada to preach. So Prabhupada then practically first sent his preachers to Europe, and then later also Sai Maharaj went to America, and also Prabhupada in his last article in Gauriya magazine before he disappeared, there he wrote that preaching is already going on in Europe, so why America should be left out? He already foretold. So then he appeared in dream of Srila Sai Maharaj when he was in Radha Damodar temple and was ordering him to go. So then he went. It was all already predicted by Mahaprabhu, and he was